Whenever you're ready.
Alright, my name is Nick Steinkamp. Today I'm going to present to you about sharks and how they're overhunted. And according to the article, How the Creator of Jaws Became the Shark's Greatest Defender, written by David Dowling, in a 5-year span, 4 people were killed by sharks. In that same amount of time, 108 people were killed by cows. So, I mean, cows are scary. Sharks are being overhunted, causing their populations to drop globally. How many of you have seen Jaws? I would imagine, made in like 1976. And you probably don't know this, but that movie had a pretty negative effect on sharks. Through my research, I have found 2 major problems affecting the survival of sharks. And today, I'll provide you with the information on the plight of sharks, some of the causes of their over-exploitation, and situations to help protect them. Let's start by looking at the problems. Overhunting, this affects all sharks. According to Shark Hunting, every year humans kill around 100 million sharks in commercial and recreational activities. Now I know we hear a lot about elephants in Africa, lions, all being overhunted. But at the same time, you never hear about them being killed in the hundreds of millions. And so the ones that aren't killed by overhunting, a lot of times are killed by bycatch, which is like a picture of that right there. It's where they just get caught up in the fishing net of fishermen who aren't even fishing for sharks. And they're not even accounted for this, so even more sharks are killed by that. Sharks are actually apex predators, according to Sharks Threats. And because of this, they mature slowly and only give birth to a few offspring. So because they're apex predators and they're big predators that mature slowly, it takes them longer to reach sexual maturity at the age where they can even, have offspring. And then the offspring that they don't have a lot. So it takes them longer to get their population back up. We'll look at the causes. Two surprising causes of this would be what I already spoke about, Jaws, and a Chinese delicacy called shark fin soup. Now, with Jaws, according to How the Creator of Jaws Became the Shark's Greatest Defender again, the author of Jaws himself, Peter Benchley, claimed in 1995 if he had to do it all over again, that the shark would have been written as the victim. For worldwide, sharks are more oppressed than the oppressor. And because of Jaws, people actually believed that sharks were just rogue and were thirsting for human blood. So they were pretty scared, so they just went out and started killing sharks. I don't know what was wrong with people in the 1970s that just believed whatever they saw on TV, but yeah. And so that's why Peter Benchley has that view now, and he had felt a lot of guilt of it until his death in 2006. Oh, shark fin soup, that's a status symbol in China. People eat it to show that, hey, I can afford this. And ever since their economy started getting better in the 60s and 70s, more and more people have been turning to shark fin soup to show that, hey, I'm cool, I can afford this. And China's got like 1 billion people, so it's a lot of people trying to eat sharks. Shark fin soup is actually detrimental to humans. 5 Chinese cities had fins assessed from sharks, and of those 5 cities, they found that the shark fins contain mercury in concentrations high enough to be considered unsafe for human consumption. Not only that, it's detrimental to humans, it's what it's doing to sharks. 2 to 5% of the overall weight of the shark comes from the fins. And what happens to the rest of the shark? It's just thrown back in the water. It's not even dead. They just cut off the fin, throw it back, and since the shark's fins are cut off, they can't swim. So the shark sinks to the bottom and drowns or is prey to another animal. I actually have a little video here.
10 were fatal. Humans kill approximately 11,417 sharks per hour, 274,008 sharks per day, 1,918,056 sharks per week, and 100,012,920 sharks per year, just by finning. Finning is the brutal act of cutting off a shark's fins and throwing them back into the ocean. After the shark is pulled aboard, the fishermen cut off the shark's fins. This includes the primary and secondary dorsal fins, both pectoral fins, part of the tail, and any other fins on the shark. The sharks are often thrown back into the ocean still alive. Sharks must keep moving to continue getting an oxygen supply. As they swim, they push water into their mouth and gills, allowing them to breathe. Without their fins, sharks lose their ability to swim properly. They often sink to the ocean floor, where they bleed out, drown, or become prey to other sea creatures.
So yeah, that's kind of what happens to sharks just for this, like, tiny little bowl of shark fin soup. And now that we know the causes, we can start looking into some solutions. We need to re-educate ourselves and change our perception of sharks. Like I said, sharks killed 4 people in the span of 5 years. We kill 100 million every year, and cows are more dangerous. Domestic protection. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has helped implement a Shark Conservation Act that prohibits the act of shark finning. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration also sustainably manages shark populations off the coast of the Atlantic, Pacific, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean Sea. Internationally, according to the article Shark Finning, Sharks Turned Prey by Katie Farquhar, in 2017, the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora listed 5 more species of sharks in its Appendix 2, which is a list of species that are not currently endangered but may become endangered without the regulation on their trade. This means that fishing of sharks has to be sustainable. You can't just, kill. And you have to watch out for their population. So we're doing some stuff to help them out, but we're not doing enough. Like I said, this only applies to 5 shark species when there's so many more that are becoming endangered. In conclusion, today we learned that overhunting is the problem of sharks, and we learned that ignorance and a Chinese delicacy are 2 main problems of this, and we learned that there are some programs set in place to help these sharks out. Call to action, just support programs like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and spread knowledge that sharks aren't out to kill us because they hate humans, and that we are worse to them than they are to us. Thank you.
Awesome, great job. All right, we're going to come full circle. Tristan, you're going to be our last presenter.